Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Multi-Voice Entertainment. I am the Multi-Voice Reviewer. I have many voices, but one opinion. And today I got another Elseworld story here that I am dying to review for you folks. I mean, I remember in the 4th of July I did review the combined mix of Superman combined with Captain America, which is, of course, Super Soldier. But now I'm going to be doing a combined superhero, but from the two superheroes from the DC universe. And this is like what if Superman was Batman? Superman speeding bullets. Now, for those of you who wants to know what this is like if they combine Superman with Batman together. So let's dig into Superman speeding bullets and see how Superman handles being Batman. But before I'm going to get this whole thing started, first, a little known fact. A long time ago, everybody always kept saying that Superman is the superhero because he has superpowers, he's an alien from another planet, his heart is in the right place, he's a good guy, he can do no wrong, and the only person who should be a villain is Batman because he represents all that is evil, he kills bad guys. One thing I would like to point out that Batman does not kill. He did during the Golden Age when he first arrived. He did kill bad guys, and he did use a gun at the time. But ever since the 50s, during the comics legislation, they made sure that Batman does not kill. And they sticked with that ever since. So to Batman's method, he beats up criminals, and he doesn't kill them. He beats them up, but never kills them. And then he leaves them on the street for the Gotham PD to throw them behind bars because of Batman. And what makes Batman the way he is the trauma he had. The horrible trauma he had in his past. I mean, when he was 8 years old, he witnessed his parents murdered right in front of his eyes. And that is serious trauma. The same kind of trauma that anybody can go through. I mean, anybody who loved their lost ones from some street maniac with a gun, I mean, things like that can put people in that kind of path. And of course, nowadays there are comic books where he almost took the path of using a gun and kill the criminal, even kill the one who killed his parents. But he started to realize if he did took a life, he's no better than the criminals themselves. He's pretty much on the same level as the criminals. So he needs to be better than that by not killing them and just throwing them behind bars where they belong. Behind bars in an insane asylum. That is Batman for you. Superman, on the other hand, I mean, he's an alien from a dead planet who was raised by a farmer in Kansas City, and they teach him the values of how to be human. And when he discovered his superpowers, at first he didn't want to inherit those superpowers and didn't want to be an alien. He wanted to be human. But he started to realize that the world needs somebody like him. Be somebody who represents hope. And that's how he became Superman. But this is something that's sort of combined two together, except this time this is an Elseworld story, so let's dig in the story. Now, from the beginning, you start seeing planet Krypton getting destroyed, and here is Kal-El, aka Superman, in that rocket ship. He leaves Krypton while it was destroyed, and then he landed, not at Kansas City, Smallville, Kansas City. That's where Superman landed at. But he landed in Gotham City, and the family who found him is, of course, Thomas and Martha Wayne and their butler, Alfred. They found Kal-El, and of course, I guess in this universe they haven't had a son yet, but when they found young baby Kal-El, they decided to raise him as their own. And instead of naming him Clark Kent, they named him Bruce Wayne. Now, he is raised the same way as Batman has been raised by his parents. I mean, even though he is a son of a wealthy millionaire, now, his father became a billionaire because he was a doctor and an entrepreneur. And that's how they became rich. So they kind of teaching Bruce Wayne about, so they start teaching Bruce Wayne about how to care for others and think of others besides yourself. Even though you are the richest person and you're living high on the hog, you need to think more of the people who are less fortunate. Why ain't millionaires ever teach their kids that way? Because they keep raising them as spoiled brats. That's the thing with rich people. When they raise their kid, when they have a child, they don't give a shit. Sorry for saying this, but this is how I feel. Raising their kids they raise their kids to be selfish, self-centered a-holes. So anyway, back to the story. And then that one night is, of course, you pretty much obvious know about the origin of Batman to know exactly what happened. Thomas and Martha Wayne left the movie theater and went to a dark alley, and that's where this mugger showed up with a gun pointing at the Wayne family. And what he's trying to do is grab the pearls that's worth a lot of money. Martha's saying, "No, let go of me." And Thomas saying, "Martha!" And of course the mugger said, "Shut up! Both of you!" And then he knocks her out with his gun. And then he shoots Martha and shoots Thomas Wayne right in front of Bruce Wayne's eyes. Who is Kal-El Bruce Wayne. You know what I mean. This is Kal-El being raised as Bruce Wayne. And after seeing the death of his parents right in front of his eyes at age 8, the criminal was about ready to kill the kid. So, as you can see, he fired his gun at him, but in shock, it didn't pierce him. But of course, Bruce Wayne, he starts enhancing his rage and start getting his Kryptonian powers all of a sudden. His eyes turn red and he says, "I hate you!" And then lasers came out of his eyes and burned the mugger's face really, really bad. So the mugger ran away, so it didn't stop. He didn't kill him, so that's a good thing. But Bruce Wayne, his laser kept going, and he was like, "Mother, Father, make it stop! Oh, please! Oh, God, make it stop!" And of course he was covering his hands trying to stop the laser coming out of his eyes. Until he finally stopped. And a policeman showed up. And of course, the funeral. And now he grew up in a mansion with his trusty butler Alfred, growing up in his mansion in the Wayne Manor. And of course, Alfred showed up saying, "Breakfast is served." And he says, "Thank you, Alfred." Honestly, sir, breakfast at 9 p.m. Wandering the house like a ghost all night. Sleeping all through the day. Vital young man of 21 should be out and about in the world having adventures. But of course, I mean, Alfred keeps telling Bruce Wayne that he should stop being up all night and sleeping during the day in his own mansion. He should be out in the world, just meeting some people and such. And then he starts reading the paper saying that Luthor come to Gotham 1 year after near-fatal accident. Near-fatal accident. And of course there was a headline about the twins' death. And of course, Bruce Wayne's getting peed off on the newspaper saying nothing but violence and death. I hate it. Hell, if I read too many stories about people getting killed, even I would hate it. But anyway, Bruce Wayne opened up the door to another room that he had with a lot of newspapers. He's been collecting every single story of every single crime happening. And it starts haunting him, especially the paper of his parents' death. And it kept haunting him so bad that he said, "Mother, Father, make it stop! Make it stop!" And then he ran out of the room. And then from out of nowhere, two muggers showed up in his mansion. One holding his butler at gunpoint, while the other one pointing at Wayne, trying to rob his mansion. One criminal says, "Don't you hear what I said? Shut your freaking mouth, or Jeeves here is history." And Bruce Wayne says, "Animals." And the criminal says, "Hey, you think I'm kidding? You think I won't?" And Bruce Wayne said, "Speaking murderers. Animals!" And then he sees one of those bandits as the one who killed his parents. But he was strong enough and fast enough that he took one out and tossed it out the window. And the other one firing his gun at him, bouncing off, he grabs his Uzi and smashed, just crushed it to pieces. And he grabs that criminal and uses a laser beam from his eyes, burning the ski mask out of his face. But of course he had to turn away and aim his laser beams at the fireplace. And of course Bruce Wayne says, "The other one. Oh my God. Oh my God. I remember." He starts having memories of the death of his parents. But Alfred, he stood right by him and comforted him. And Alfred thought it was time to let Bruce Wayne know about who he really is and why he shoots lasers out of his eyes. So they took him into the basement. In the back, there was some sort of Batcave tunnel under the Wayne Manor. and he showed him a desk with a lot of papers, and of course, the rocket ship that he was in when Krypton was destroyed. So now, Batman knows about his, knows who he really is. He's an alien from a dead planet called Krypton. And when he sees all the, and of course, his eyes starts seeing things up close. So now, he starts flying with a bunch of bats flying about in the cave. All of a sudden, there was this boss man, a mysterious one, and two of the criminals who tried to raid the Wayne Manor tried to tell him that they tried to kill Bruce Wayne, but somehow he broke their hand and almost set his face on fire. But of course, the boss guy, he grabbed him by the throat and strangled him to death. And laughed. And then the next day, there was a sniper on top of the building who kept killing people on sight, firing his gun at the police. And then from out of nowhere, out comes the Batman. Now I gotta say, now it doesn't show much of his costume, but I'm sure in the next page it'll show more. Well, of course it shows it here. Which I do like his costume because it's kind of neat. I mean, instead of having the bulletproof costume, since his skin is bulletproof, so I'm sure he creates some kind of special material that that it wouldn't do much tear and wear on on the outfit he's wearing. And he doesn't need a utility belt because he has superpowers, so he doesn't need any technology to use. But anyway, the sniper fired his gun at him, but nothing worked. So he tossed a grenade at him. Batman grabbed the grenade and covered it with his hands, and poof, out comes a grenade, but it didn't affect him. And the criminal, he just took a couple of steps back and he fell. He fell out of the cliff and he was falling until Batman grabbed him by the wrist and safely landed on top of the policeman. And after that, he flew off. And now they're talking about a flying Batman who stopped a Midtown sniper. And of course we have billionaire Lex Luthor over here having a meeting. And of course Bruce Wayne showed up. And of course Lex Luthor couldn't believe that that's Bruce Wayne there. And of course Bruce Wayne was showing up with shades hiding his eyes. And he is threatening Lex that he would shut down his organization at once because he has a feeling that he knows he's behind all the damages and all the things happening, and might be the one responsible for the death of Martha and Thomas Wayne. So Bruce Wayne, he quits being a billionaire and leaves his company to a better philanthropist, and started working in the newspaper company. And now he's playing Bruce Wayne, newspaper reporter. You know, that just kind of reminds me of that animated movie cartoon they did. The first time they had Superman and Batman together. And I remember that one line that Batman says, "It's ironic, you know. She likes Bruce Wayne and she likes Superman. It's the other two guys she's not crazy about." And Superman says, "Too bad we cannot mix and match." Well, I guess this one kind of mix and match. Ah, well. And of course, here is the lovely Lois Lane. Right here. And of course, Lex Luthor showed up and asked Lois Lane for a ride. She hopped in, but of course Bruce Wayne, dressing up as Batman, kept an eye on her and heard the whole conversation between Lex Luthor and Lois. And Lex was about ready to hit on her. He was about ready to put his hands on her legs, but she gave him a good slap in the face. Way to go. But of course, that didn't go well with him, so he told his driver to pull over, and he kicked her out in a bad alley. Now there's a group of thugs who's thinking about taking advantage of her. And then, boom, out comes Batman. He keeps knocking every criminal out, and some of them try to stab him, but the knife just snapped when it hit his skin. And he also breaks their hands. And also, he grabs this one criminal. He said, "I could kill you, you know. One finger right through your head. Similar, your brains all over the street." And the criminal was like, "Please, oh, please don't kill me, God, please don't." And he says, "Don't worry, scum. You're not worth it." And then he tossed him aside. And then he walked over to Lois and she said, "Let me help you." But of course, she didn't even thank Batman because she says, "Get the hell away from me." So Batman flew away. So Lois Lane got into her computer and started typing down what she'd been through and making the story about the Batman. On her report, she says, "This is what we've come to." Is this what we come to? Has our world become so twisted, so violent, that this is the kind of hero we predict? If it has, then God help us. God help the Batman most of all. And of course, Bruce Wayne showed up talking to Lois. And of course, Bruce Wayne and Lois have a bit of a chit-chat, and then they both started kissing. She loves Bruce Wayne and she loves Superman. It's the other two guys she ain't crazy about. Too bad we cannot mix a match, right? Well, this one's mixing. All of a sudden, the big boss man showed up with a long purple coat and a purple hat. But and of course, he revealed himself as Lex Luthor, but he's not the Lex Luthor they thought. It is none other than Joker Lex Luthor. Now, this is an interesting twist right here, because this is not combined with two villains, but three. And what they combine with is, he's a combined mix of Lex Luthor, the Penguin, and the Joker. Yeah, that's right. And of course, I know some of you are going to be saying, what makes you think he's the Penguin? Well, look right here. It's obvious. He used an umbrella and shot Bruce Wayne on the chest with his umbrella. And now he grabs Lois, jumps out of the window, and then he turns on a helicopter backpack. Probably one of Joker's inventions. But of course, this Joker Luthor grabbed Lois Lane while he was singing "Nothing Anymore. Not anymore." Or something like that. I don't even know what he's talking about. And he was trying to offer her, since he's a billionaire and all, he can give her the world, anything he wants. But she rejected him as well, as always. And of course, Batman showed up. And Lex Joker says, "Is it?" And of course Batman showed up saying, "Let the woman go." And of course Joker Luthor says, "Everyone? A face-to-face at last. You've been quite a thorn on my side. Damming up my flow of arms and money. But happily you haven't done any permanent damage." But of course Batman grabbed him, destroyed the helicopter backpack he had, and Batman stared at him and says, "I'm not done yet." And while Batman is battling against that Joker Luthor, all of a sudden an army of criminals who are in league with Joker Luthor started raging war against the cops. And even some of them had tanks. They kept bombing and shooting the cops. So Batman says, "What are you doing? Why are you doing this?" And Joker Luthor says, "Well, why not?" And Batman says, "I can hear them, hundreds of them, all across the city, surfing in because of you." I had to skip some words because sometimes there's some words I can't pronounce, sorry. But anyway, "Because of you, you insufferable maggot." And Joker Luthor says, "Guilty on both counts." And he says, "I'm going to kill you." Then rip your cores to bloody pieces. And of course, Lex Joker says, "Why, Batman, old boy, I do believe you're as far gone as I am. I am correct in my..." And Batman says, "Yes!" And then he was still flying, so he hoisted him up and tossed him down. But Lois Lane says, "No!" But he sees what he meant. So he flew down and grabbed Lex Joker. And Batman says, So where is it we're going?" Saying something I just cannot even read what he says. But Batman says, "You're going to jail." And Lex Joker says, "I'm going." So pretty much Joker Luthor ended up in jail, while Batman decided to deal with the army of criminals trying to save the city. He destroyed every single tank, and when every single bad guy tried to shoot him, no effect. So he pretty much took down every single bad guy everywhere he spots. And even there is a Zeppelin who kept shooting bombs right at the city. So Batman kicked one of the torpedoes up and hits the blimp with his heat vision. So now the city is safe once again, thanks to Batman. He shows up right in front of Lois, And Lois wants to know who he really is. She'd rather see him as himself, not as Batman. She doesn't want him to use the symbol of the bat that represents fear towards those who do evil. She wants a symbol of hope. And Batman says, I don't have it in me to do that, be that. And she said, the Batman doesn't, but Bruce Wayne does. And she removes his mask, knowing who he really is. And of course, Lois Lane and Batman, aka Bruce Wayne, flew up in the sky. Kind of like the same moment when Superman grabbed Lois and he flew along with her. So now, he did change. He's no longer the Dark Knight, but now becomes the new Batman. The new Superman. So now he's no longer Batman, he is Superman. This comic is pretty good. It is a good story and it is a good take, but I still don't like the idea of Bruce Wayne stop becoming Batman in order to become Superman. People think it's going to be easy, like changing my shirt. Changing my Batman shirt to Superman. Oh, man. It does hurt. Every time when you rip a shirt and there's another one under there, kind of gives me a back wedgie. Ugh. Sometimes. Whew. But anyway, this is my review of this for today. For those of you who likes this review, please leave a comment down below, hit like and subscribe for more. And right now, it is back to basics. So, I'm the Multi-Voice Reviewer. I remember it so I can jog your memory.